I think he's going to leave. I don't know what the holdup is. And I think it would be awesome. Like I would definitely want Aaron Rodgers to be my quarterback if I was a Jets fan. But this thing is just dragging out. It's the first day of free agency, but
I think it'll happen.
Yeah.
What about retirement? Where do you put that? Do you put that above or below back to Packers?
Maybe above.
Okay.
Because you just can't go back, dude.
Well, and especially after what the Packers have said in the last week.
You can't go back.
They said we're good.
He might go back and be like, I can go back, like I can do whatever the fuck I want. But it's just, it would look so wild, And I also think he has a better chance of winning in New York.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck it, do it. Part of it might be like, when you're like, I'm not going to grow up to be just like my dad, All right, this message is for Bic. Bic Ultra Round Stick Grip Pens. You know the pens. If you Google the pen, you know the pen. It's it because it's always fucking falling apart, and it's opening, and the inside of the pen is like a little chute of ink. It's like the cartridge for the ink, but I'm constantly seeing because the pen falls apart, and I'm wondering why the fuck this mechanism exists. Who's refilling Bic Ultra Round Stick Grip Pens?
I've never seen somebody refill it. I have seen the ink break in my pocket and ruin pants before.
Seriously, what's this for?
I think it's for refilling. I think it's so you can refill it.
Who the fuck is refilling pens, dude? In 2023, honestly, I'm just struggling to write notes today. I'm back.
I would welcome you back, man.
Yeah.
But I'm tired.
Oh shit, here we go.
I'm weary.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also so happy.
Yeah.
Selection Sunday, there's no day like it.
There's nothing like it.
Let's stick with you because I could talk rock all day long.
Sticking with me, I have 3 6s of Zen in. So like if you're watching YouTube and I look like I had plastic surgery on my upper lip, I didn't. It's just that like it's hard to smile with a Zen in. Remember we went through this on vacation.
Yeah, I walked in here and I don't know who was doing it, but I could smell marijuana from the street outside.
Gorilla Glue.
And it just got even more intense as I walked up the stairs.
Yeah.
And now you're throwing, that's nicotine, all up into your mouth. And yet you declined the roulette of a caffeinated or decaffeinated coffee.
Well, here's the thing. Nicotine, perfect drug. I'm like 3 weeks off of Kodiak wintergreen, and I used to dip once a night. So like at night before bed, that was my routine for a very long time. Now I don't do that anymore because Zen fills the void and then some. It feels like it cuts out all the bad stuff, which it actually does, and the nicotine goes straight into your brain. The problem with that now is that I'm a nicotine addict.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was a routine guy, right, who just liked to dip at night.
Yep.
Now first thing in the morning, 3 6s. Drive into work, 3 6s. Work, 3 6s. Drive home, I'm driving.
Hey.
Need something. 3 6s. Before bed, 4 6s. Because you want the big Mike Tyson knockout of nicotine before you hit the sheets.
I'm not kidding you, and this isn't like, well, this is exactly like the egg white situation from last week because I don't understand egg whites. But nicotine in cigarettes. So cigarettes is tobacco.
Right.
But also nicotine. And then you're smoking that into your lungs.
Yes,
yeah?
I don't understand the need for the tobacco. I'm a purist. I want the nicotine.
And the dipping is like the fiberglass going into your blood.
That's the delivery system of said nicotine. Yeah, which you're constantly cutting your lip.
So do you know how this goes into your brain? Like the
through your bloodstream.
Oh, still through your bloodstream.
Yeah, but it's not. You're not cutting into it.
It's not as harmful because they basically taken the nicotine out of the tobacco.
Now they're going to tell you, hey, there's a lot we don't know about Zen. There's a lot I don't know about Zen. There's a lot I do know about Zen, which is that I like Zen and it gets me through the day. But I'm going to try to cut back a little bit. I got on the horse and I couldn't stop riding. And the thing about Zen is it doesn't give me crippling anxiety like caffeine. So as you know, I don't drink coffee. I do a decaf every once in a blue moon where I need the synapses to fire a little better than they are currently. And so I tried to order a fucking decaf from McDonald's. I said, anybody want one? Fauché said, yeah, I want one too. I'll take a regular old drug vessel. Big black drug vessel. And I said, well, I'll have my decaf. So McDonald's sends 2 fucking coffees via Grubhub, get here before the show. There's no demarcation of which one's loaded with the dope. And all I need is 15 milligrams of caffeine. That's going to get me through. And then I'm going to feel that a little bit later. But I'll do it for the good of the show. But I can't fucking play Russian roulette with that.
Yeah, you refused.
You
walked down the street to get a new decaf coffee.
Yeah.
You left the studio.
Yes. I went to Marie Bet, and they said, we don't have decaf coffee. We have decaf Americano. I go, hold on a second. We're going to have a conversation here.
Oh, I can answer some of that.
Okay.
So that's your espresso and hot water.
Should
very
be cool
hot.
enough now.
Yeah, very hot, as you can purport. But
Damn.
they don't have a decaf drip coffee option over there. Now yours was so hot, you went and put ice cream in it.
Yeah, there's no fucking ice in the I want to get this show off the ground, dude. We sit in here too long, people get the heebie-jeebies, so I want to get going. There's no ice in the freezer. So
if you could go back and do it all over again, would you gotten an iced Americano, you think?
Yeah, probably I would ask for a couple fucking ice cubes. Okay, I didn't think that this thing came out of the center of the earth. So
did you think about sticking it in the fridge for 5?
Sticking it in the fridge for 5? Sure, but I wanted to get started now. Ironically, that would have been quicker.
Yeah. Ironically, after holding us all hostage, our days, by walking down the street, when you arrived, it was the time to go. And it was fairly, I think, brilliant of you, because people put cream in their coffee. That's what you did. Yours just happened to be cold.
Cold ice cream.
Yeah.
So anyways.
French vanilla, by the way.
This is going to be a big catch-up pod. Like, we're not going to have no mustard. We're also not going to have any guests.
Yeah.
I called Jason Kelsey, or I texted Kelsey to be like, hey, you back for another year? Maybe you want to pop on the pod, but he's really taking this back for another year thing seriously. The fucking guy's working out. Couldn't come on.
In my experience, booking guests is quite difficult.
Yeah, it sucks.
Not.
Well, when you have to book 2 of them, it's pretty easy.
Everybody goes quiet now. Everybody's been so amazed at my guest booking abilities, and then I try to make a joke. I try to pat myself on the back, and y'all go quiet. Was it like
we laughed?
No, it's funny.
You did laugh?
It is funny.
Yeah.
We laugh.
Okay.
It's funny.
Like Golick, like he said yes in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, I wanted to have Mike on too, but you stole my thunder there.
Yeah.
But the coffee makes me feel like Cocaine Bear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Segue.
Did you see it?
I did see it.
Nice.
Fuck.
As you know,
it's good radio.
Last night, right?
Uh-huh.
I went and saw Cocaine Bear. Missed the Oscars. Lovely wife was like, what about The Last of Us season finale? I was like, nah, going to Cocaine Bear at Stonefield, which I heard was closing down. And the reports of its demise are not exaggerated. I don't think, because me, Bad Back Backy, and Paquette go in there, and we're the only 3 people in Cocaine Bear. Now, it's a 9 p.m. It's a Sunday night.
Isn't that good, though? Aren't you happy when you're the only ones in there?
Yeah, for sure. But then I'm not real happy when the lights are on the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Oh, wow.
They fucking left the lights on the first 15 minutes of the movie. Not to call out Stonefield. I want the movie theaters to stay.
I guarantee you I know who went to ask them to turn the lights off.
Paquette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paquette. Absolutely.
And then when he got back, Backy was like, oh, this is the movie? He thought it was still the previews or something. The movie is fucking wonderful, dude.
Oh.
Cocaine Bear is great. Like, and I mean this, like, not in an ironic way, not in a ha ha ha, it's a fucking bear on cocaine. I wouldn't even consider it a stoner movie. Now I got to watch it again to be sure, but
because you were so high.
That's funny. So, I mean, it had like all the ingredients of an old monster movie. It had like, nostalgic 80s references. It had the monster. It had like, there was a MILF. There were funny characters. There was gore. Like everything that you want in a monster horror movie, it had. and it had really good like cameo appearances.
Wasn't Ray Liotta in it?
Ray Liotta was in it, and Ray Liotta's
God rest his soul.
Yeah, God rest his soul. It's his last role. Okay, so spoiler alert, because I don't think it's a big plot movie, but Ray Liotta. Can I tell you what happened?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. If you haven't seen the movie, cover your ears. But Ray Liotta got his stomach eaten out by the bear. And like, you just think about all the fucking cocaine and crime and mafia movies and like dirty cop movies he's been in.
Yeah.
And his last death in a movie is at the hands of a bear on cocaine. It's just
iconic.
You can't make this shit up. The guy from Game of Thrones, the big redheaded guy.
Bran.
No. Yeah, that's funny. Tormund. Big brolic dude. Big brolic ginger. Well, he's in the movie, and he looks regular as fuck. He must have been on a cycle in Game of Thrones. There's a guy from Instagram, the retail guy with the mustache. Who worked at IKEA and would do these voiceovers where he was like really rude to the customers, as he probably secretly wished he was all the time. Remember this guy? I don't know if you remember the guy, but he was in the movie. It was terrific, man. And Clay Davis from The Wire.
Shit.
Like, the movie's supposed to be about the bear, okay? But he's a real scene stealer, man. He's the funniest fucking character I've seen in a movie in a couple years.
Wow.
Yeah, he's awesome. Now his real name is what is his real name?
I might know it.
Isaiah
Whitlock Jr.
Yeah.
Funniest fucking guy ever.
Yeah.
So funny. The whole movie, I was like,
oh, Margot Martindale. She's from The Americans. O'Shea Jackson Jr. He's from
funny.
Straight Outta Compton.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. was great. So
Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Modern Family. Look at this cast.
Yeah, dude, really good cast.
Kerry Russell, The Americans.
Great director too, Elizabeth Banks.
So yeah, the actress as well.
Yeah, she directed this.
Okay, she did a great job.
You know what that name is similar to is Elizabeth Berkley, Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell, who went on to do like some sort of striptease thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's a great movie. My Rotten Tomatoes review is in. It's a big fucking.
I think tomato is good. Yeah, tomato.
It's a big old red,
juicy. Feel it in my tomatoes.
Yeah, and my review would be, now that's a bear that knows what it wants, because it wanted cocaine and they didn't overthink it, and it was awesome. It was an awesome movie.
Very
69% tomato meter. Audience score 72% though.
I was told a few minutes ago that you're up on The Last of Us. Are you?
I am.
So you saw last night?
I saw last night. I saw the finale.
A little double feature for you.
Yeah, so cover your ears at home if you haven't seen it yet. But also hurry the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Tuesday.
So put your earmuffs on, Matt.
Got it.
Reed, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen episode 1.
Okay, so
fire everything.
Everybody's leaving the room. What the fuck?
Well, I don't understand your question.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Look,
without telling them what happened, what the fuck?
Well, what are we supposed to glean? That the guy had the chance to save the world potentially, but he let his own personal relationship get in the way, and
he was a weirdo the whole episode.
I felt like the two of them forgot how to act for the first 15 minutes of the episode. They're amazing, but it
was awkward on purpose, but
okay.
Also, a little bit of a residual effect from Cocaine Bear. Got home, turned it on, watched the whole childbirth scene.
Oh yeah.
Did not realize till I was laying in bed that was Ellie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, I forgot about the pregnant lady. Is she kept baby okay?
She kept calling her Ellie.
Yeah, I know.
And then there were like the opening credits.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It was a long night.
The mom looked a lot like Ellie.
A lot of art consumption.
Yeah. Yeah, Marlene was there.
Yeah, got it. Yep.
But what do you mean, what the fuck? What do you mean?
I mean, like, it's bold to end it there. I mean, like,
I think they're going to come back for more.
I know, but it's bold to end the first season there, because to me, Pedro Pascal's character is almost unredeemable at this point. He's irredeemable.
Yeah.
Like, it was a mass shooting. It felt like it was fucked up.
We were seeing a mental breakdown.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
And he lied to the girl.
Whose life he saved.
But maybe she would have been like, yeah, cut me open.
Yep.
You know?
And then she said, "Say you swear," and he was like, "I swear."
I swear.
Now he's lying.
Yeah. A lot of 7 deadly sins in there.
Really good show. Hey, thanks to you guys for encouraging everybody to watch it.
Yep.
I didn't think I'd be enthralled by a sci-fi, and I sure was. And there weren't that many of those little fuckers, clicking around.
No, it's a human story.
It's a human story.
as much as it is, which is a selling point that I think you've picked up on.
Yep.
And now we're right into Succession.
That's right. I'm doing a little rewatch, watching back season 3. It's delightful.
And Mario the movie.
Mario the movie.
Oh, I can't wait. I think it's like April 7th.
Like Mario, Luigi Mario?
Yeah, I don't even know what day it is. I know when that comes out.
What are they going to do?
Well, they're going to fight Bowser.
Oh. Peach?
She's there.
Okay.
Yeah, she's involved.
For that movie, we should get a Children of the Greenlight podcast review.
Yes.
Send them, they go and watch it.
And
they
then
come
they
back.
come in here and talk about it.
We get Waylon, Luke,
I
anybody
think
else
that's
that wants to participate. Just their thoughts, stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
My kid really just says, "Dada, eat." So might not be as good.
Well,
from my end of things.
hopefully it won't be as scary as when we took the kids to Puss in Boots. It's out April 5th. I was on an edible at Puss in Boots. I thought I was like tripping. I mean, like there was a wolf in there that was so scary. It was unbelievable. And I guess Cocaine Bear, mission accomplished, because I don't think black bears are a fucking problem at all. I've made myself very clear on that topic. But I got out last night, and I'm kind of in the woods now, and I looked over my shoulder for a bear.
That's cool.
And so I think, it's like Jaws. You don't want to jump in the pool and not think about the shark. The movie didn't do its job.
Zoe Rabb and I walked outside the other night. We both go bathroom about 11:30 p.m. and there were 2 big old things that ran away in a hurry. Now,
You think it was a bear?
could have just been deer, but it sounded like they had some heft to them.
I think they do spin-offs like meth giraffe. Just like switch the drug, switch the animal, and Elizabeth Banks do another one.
What's the scariest drug animal combo you can come up
Caffeine
with?
penguin.
No. I thought about meth penguin too.
Penguin, really?
Penguins.
Wow, are we like simpatico
we might
here?
be.
There was a giraffe in Last of Us.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene.
Big old black tongue.
Yeah. So
Acid snakes.
Acid snakes. Jesus. Bath salt gorilla. Anyways,
What's the drug in weed?
THC.
Some days I feel like it's THC humans.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, trips. Tell me about the. I'll tell you about Anguilla first. So
Yeah, welcome home.
Well, no, you tell me about
Greensboro? Greensboro, North Carolina. Hello! It's Greensboro is awesome. There's just nothing to do but watch a ACC basketball tournament. Used to be every year, now once every few years. They've actually made some improvements to the gym. I was a little bit disappointed to see. But I rolled down there Saturday. I was in the car for a total of 6 hours. I was in the arena for 2 and little pre-gaming for maybe 1. And then we lost to Duke. So you say, hey, Make, you regret making the decision to drive down to Greensboro on a whim to see the Who's play in the ACC title? The answer is no, because I really appreciate, and I'll never take for granted, being a man in the arena.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm
the
saying?
Tar Heels.
Because, I'll get there.
Yeah.
Because I'm wearing really loud Virginia clothing. At JPJ, I look put together. But if I'm not on the home turf, I like to be loud. Yeah. And I'd had a couple pops, so I was being boisterous, and I was getting chirped at a little bit. So I don't know. You might call this low-hanging fruit smack talk, but when you're down the entire game, you don't have a lot to say. You can't say something like scoreboard. So I would just ask every single Duke fan what year they graduated from the school, which is not applicable for those folks. You want to talk about a group of hillbillies? It's the Duke University basketball fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got hillbilly fans.
Mm-hmm.
So like
you wouldn't believe
has
it.
Like the fans all over the country.
They hit every single demo. UNC fans, but Duke, either it's wine and cheese or it's backwoods. Yeah. No in between, really. And Nah, man, it was fun. The Hoos lost by 10. Duke played well. A lot of length
Lost
bothered
a lot
the
of money
Hoos.
on that game.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah. 59-49 was the final. We could just never really get it going. But it's if you have the chance to see a Power 5 basketball conference, tournament, I don't think you can do better than the ACC in Greensboro. It's something special. The whole town embraces that 1 week out of the year, and if you can roll several days into a trip, it's awesome. On the way down, I called my brother-in-law, like, hey, wear your seats.
Yeah.
We'll try to get close. I've never heard such a gravelly voice in my life.
Yeah, he was getting after it.
And that's what a week in Greensboro does
got
to you.
after it.
Yeah, I got after it.
Yeah.
I got after it. I got after it.
D word?
D word?
Drunk?
Oh, nah, man. Responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Drunk. I mean, I'm talking. Yeah, more like starting like with like a J. Like I was drunk. Yeah, nah. It was good. It was
Glad
fun.
you didn't tell me. I would have had FOMO.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Have I said I wish we had won the game? I wish we had won the game, but it was still a good time.
John Shire, man, fucking guy. I heard you. I did hear a little of your podcast with Golick. I
I'll be
listened to a little
damned.
bit.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That warms the shit out of my heart.
Yeah. Well, you said John Shire, not best looking coach in the ACC.
Right, but I think number 2.
I think he's number 2.
Yeah.
Fucking guy looks like he's from General Hospital.
You think he's real hot?
No, I'm just saying he looks like what I imagine women think is like the way I see a guy and evaluate the hotness is on a scale that I have created in my mind based on an aggregation of what. And yeah, John Shire, I think women like John Shire.
For sure. He's a good-looking guy. He's just no Tony Bennett.
Yeah, listen, that was a long-winded way of explaining that I'm not gay. But John Shire, yeah. I mean, he's like tall, handsome. He's younger than me.
Well,
Did you know he's younger than us?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucked up. We're getting old.
We are. And it's a glow-up because the college days weren't terribly kind.
But they're also
John
like
Shire.
17-1 with all their guys, dude. And this is his first year, and it makes me afraid.
They're all 5 stars, man.
I know, but do you think they're going to stop getting 5 stars?
Well, hey, Carolina has a bunch of 5 stars.
Yeah.
Carolina's season's over.
Yeah.
In the most insufferable, uppity, on-brand way.
I can't believe they printed a graphic for that. That was my favorite part of it. Like, they printed a graphic to say that they're bowing out of the NIT.
When the going gets tough, take your ball and go home.
I mean, even if they weren't to bow out of the NIT and they turned down a weekend in New York, because it would have been a weekend, they were up 16 in Natty last year.
11 months ago.
I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, I know we catch a lot of shit for losing to UMBC and the whole thing, but this is, when you do this, it's the cherry on top.
Yep.
And I think it's more embarrassing than losing to a 16 seed. We have a national championship since then.
How the turntables.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't drunk. It was just for
drunk.
effect. I was building that up. I was quite petty though. I would there'd be a loser Duke fan looking all a fool, and I took videos of them. Just being really petty.
That's like I'll get you punched in the face by some of those hillbillies.
Yep, that's right. How was your trip?
I went to Anguilla.
I'll put a bow on it by saying Greensboro is really the Anguilla of the eastern
seaboard.
Yeah, a little bit inland, but East Coast.
Anguilla's great. I mean, beautiful beaches. The surf was a little rough, so your boy didn't get in the ocean too much. It was 2 red flags for most of the stay. Stayed in a house with my entire family. My parents, Howie and his fiance Kyle, and his wife Kate and their baby. And the last night ended with a fire.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there was a fire in front of the villa.
One of your rock huns?
Well, no, it wasn't me, actually. But after the fire, I was like so careful. I was like putting my cones out in the pool and then like putting them in a wet plastic bag and putting them in the trash.
Not a planned fire.
No, it was
unplanned fire.
Unplanned fire. So we're like on the beach. There's a pool behind our villa. There's about 200 feet maybe down to the ocean. And in the middle of it, maybe like 75 feet away, there's a grove of palm trees. And the last night, there was an 11-year-old having a birthday party, like couple spots down. Mm-hmm. And we caught wind, which is going to be a key term in this story, of a fireworks show. So we were out there to watch the fireworks. Not only were they really fucking loud, but they also were set off on a very windy evening, and they landed in that grove of palm trees. And 10 minutes after the sun's gone down, Kyle's up there putting the baby to sleep. Kids are downstairs eating room service, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, that's a fire. And the thing is like growing pretty quickly, and I can see that it's the fireworks. And my dad naturally,
Thank God Howie Long's there.
firestorm is like, oh, I'll go put it out. I'm like, Dad, stay the fuck here. Like this looks like a fire department fire. I mean, the thing is now within 30 seconds, 10, 15 feet tall, and the kids are scared, and Dad is decided that he's not going to fight the fire, but he's going to alert Kyle, who runs downstairs in a frenzy, and he's like, what the fuck? He's like, passports, where the fuck are the passports? And he runs out the front door with his family. Well, after he also, in very long man fashion,
I can see it.
walked towards the fire for 5 feet, with some intention of putting it out.
Had to size it up.
To which I said, Kyle, get the fuck inside, dude. Okay? Like, the fire department of this great Caribbean nation is going to handle this fire swiftly, but there's a lot of smoke, so we're getting smoked out. The fire department comes. We get our last night comped.
Oh.
So I don't want to call out the resort that allowed fireworks on a night where the wind's blowing 15 knots, but
good idea. Comp.
yeah, honestly, I would if I'd have done it all over again.
Every
night. Just to see Kyle run out the door asking for the passports, I mean, that was worth the price of admission.
Was it heading toward the house? Because a fire, what do fires do in bodies of water? Just become hot water?
I don't know. You have to ask Howie Long.
We have to ask Blaine Gabbert.
There was a dock scene. Yeah, Blaine Gabbert or Howie Long. There was a dock scene in Firestorm where Dad was running down the dock with an axe. And I don't know why he was running with an axe, but he had to get to some fucking overturned canoe to get under it because the firestorm was coming. Spoiler alert. And in the filming of this scene, he dropped the axe because he did all his own stunts. He's like he's like a plus size Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
He fell on the axe and it broke his ribs.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Yeah, right. So, with that whole thing having happened, I don't think I want Dad leading the.
So what exactly did Big Howie do during this fire besides call
he
for
just
Kyle?
Got on the phone, and as the smoke is billowing, he's asking about other accommodations.
What's the number to 911 in Anguilla?
I have no idea, but it wasn't like that. Like, we could have gotten our golf cart and gotten the fuck out of there. Mm-hmm. But Kyle took the golf cart. So,
did he wake the baby up?
oh
Like
yeah, the
that
baby was
just
still
been-
awake,
Okay.
not asleep yet.
Okay.
So baby had a long night.
Yeah. Well, every night for her is a long night.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Good one. So, and another thing about that trip is, like, when I had this on my calendar, it's amazing how you imagine things. I was like, yo, I'm going to be so fucking cool. I'm going to be jacked on the beach. I'm going to be just getting off the mountain, like probably have a bunch of abs, walked 40 miles at altitude last week, the whole thing. Nah, 2 fucking drinks in, I feel like the guy with the Speedo on the beach who's like just, fried and overweight. Like I'm at that age. Nah, like, yeah, I'm going to look like John Bastow. Nah, still have puffy nipples on the beach. You know what I mean? Like
That the last picture from your IG dump, you were looking hot.
you like that?
Yeah.
Well,
let me pull that back up.
Not the best angle, but
No, I was like,
thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's not how you feel though. And so, yeah, I mean, like 7 days in Anguilla, drinking by the pool during the day, eating whatever the fuck I wanted. Happy to be home.
Yeah. Happy to have you back.
Thanks.
Any vacation plan for next week or what?
Nah, I'm here, bro.
Oh, what you did was you put the kid in front of your body.
Exactly. Used him as a shield.
The pecs look good though. Shoulders.
Yeah. Doing some push-ups.
Yeah. You know what I stopped doing?
What?
The push-ups
And gambling.
and gambling.
Nice.
Yep.
You're gonna miss both those things. All right, so got to talk about we're gonna do our Tatty Champs selection later. Obviously, for the people who remember from last year, we're gonna draw 2 teams per person. involved. The first draw is going to be your team that you're rooting for to win the whole thing, because if they win the whole thing, you get $2,000.
Your cash team.
Yeah, your cash team, which I don't know where that money's coming from yet. I think it's
Cash App. Thank
Cash
you.
App.
Thank you to Cash App.
Appreciate you. And then the second team you draw, pay attention here, is the team that if they win the national championship, you have to get a theme tattoo.
Yep.
Somewhere in your body of this mascot or school, something affiliated with the school. Now, the seeds in the pool are 1 through 8. So could get dicey for somebody this year, or somebody could make some money. So
Kingston drew the number 1 overall seed last year.
Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Who's going to have a bulldog tattoo?
Mark
But they're
Few's
Gonzaga.
face.
Yeah.
Mark Few getting a DUI with his dogs in the back seat tattoo on your back.
Mark Few, Kevin Bacon tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do that in a bit. We're going to talk about a little NFL now, because I missed a lot of shit, dude. I really did. And I'm home right on time for free agency, which kicked off about an hour ago. It's like 1:15 here. And
I can't hear you, cowboy.
Big quarterback news, the biggest quarterback news of the day, the one that we were all waiting for. Mike White signs with the Miami Dolphins.
Did he
Backs
really?
up to it. He did.
I thought you were going to say Jared Stidham to the Broncos.
Well, that's the second biggest quarterback
because
news
you
of the day.
were like bummed about that, and I'm like this Jared Stidham like closet fan.
Give a backup quarterback $5 million a year, and he's played 2 good quarters, 3 good quarters.
Yes,
You know,
and
it doesn't
certainly
matter.
you
Russell
could have a
Wilson's
Chad
winning.
Henne. You could have a Chad Henne that's played in a
You're
million
right.
games, but Peyton might like Stidham. He might think this guy's not bad. Like maybe a developmental piece. Plus
That's a
the
good point.
insurance if Russ is, he gets sucked into one of those toilets in his many bathrooms or something. Like something happens to Russell Wilson, you're going to need a guy.
Yeah. And yeah, I should trust Sean Payton more. We are trusting Sean Payton because he had just went out and spent over $100 million on the offensive line today in the last hour with McGlinchey and Ben Powers. But in the news you were waiting for, Jimmy G to the Raiders.
Yeah, Jimmy G, Raiders.
Big money, 3 years, $67 million.
Talk about a hot guy. He's going to look great in that silver and black.
So talking about the quarterbacks, yeah, he is going to look good in the silver and black. And he could have gone Long Island, Italian last name. They would have loved him there. Well, maybe not because Scott's not in the room, but Corporate Greg, big Jets fan, he walks in today, he's like, has Rodgers signed yet? They really want this to happen. So Jimmy G to the Jets would have been a disappointment, I think, to some fans. But the guy can do Vegas just as well. I mean, he I can see him in a casino.
The
holding court.
mafia.
Yeah.
They built Vegas.
He's a rangy Italian.
Yeah.
Yep. He can do a lot of things. He really can. But he can also provide the Raiders with a competitive starting quarterback who's got a relationship with the OC and a guy that can be a bridge for you as you develop another quarterback. I was in New England when he had the spot start a few games for Tom Brady because Tom was suspended at that point for Deflategate, which I still think was overblown. No, but honestly, what do you think? What do you think?
What I think is we're playing Nerf hoops out there with a slightly overinflated ball, and ball inflation matters. Kingston and I beat Cowboy Reed and Fauché 7-0 while you were getting your decaf coffee.
Yeah,
7-0.
Yeah, pretty good.
Kingston and I are both 36 years old.
But that's the point. The other teams are playing with they're not playing with these balls too, but the second half of the Colts game, they fixed the balls and they go out and score
they made
30
way
points.
too big a deal out of that.
Yeah,
thing. It was crazy. I was at Busch Stadium watching a Cardinals game, and there's a cryon flashing across the screen about Tom Brady's cell phone being destroyed. The whole thing got insane.
Well, the cell phone destruction thing was a little bit Inspector Gadget-ish. I mean, the whole thing was kind of goofy.
Did you say Chiron right?
No, thanks
he
for the
didn't.
correction.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
We really appreciate when you do that.
Did you hear on that?
I heard that part
checkered,
where you were like, guys, see, isn't it great when I correct people? It's always this benign. Everyone's like, yeah. Chris hates it, but, he's an Anguilla. Fuck him. No, but, They go out and they beat the Seahawks. Seahawks are one of the best defense of all time. The balls are perfectly inflated for that whole ordeal. Anyways, Jimmy G, when he spot started for Tom in that scenario, he was very good. His shoulder exploded against the Dolphins, but he was crushing it. And I can't help but wonder what the upside for him is. It's like weird because you look at Jimmy G and you're like, well, him and Kyle Shanahan's offense is probably his ceiling. And I'd probably agree with that. But you're kind of getting close to that ceiling when you look at a coordinator like Josh, who he has a history with, and who he's performed really well and efficiently with. So I think the Raiders got to be pretty happy with Jimmy G.
I think so. It makes sense. And a lot of Jimmy G's proficiencies were the Raiders' deficiencies last year. Quick game, efficient passing.
Yeah.
The Derek Carr took a lot of unneeded shots that had a negative, expected points average.
And I just started to look at Devontae Adams and his kind of shot chart last year and where he was catching balls, and he caught a lot of balls down the field, right? So that's one area where I know that's not maybe Jimmy's game, but they have to, prioritize still taking those shots and using this guy who, unfortunately, for a glimmer of time, probably thought that he was going to reunite with Aaron Rodgers, or there was some possibility of it. He was like, Tim Robbins, and Aaron Rodgers is like Morgan Freeman or something like that. Yeah, sure. And I can't remember the name of the city.
Shawshank Redemption.
Well, I know the
San
Juan Tanejo. And he's sitting there and he's in San Juan Tanejo, and fucking some other guy shows up, like one of the
Brooks.
sisters,
Brooks
shows up.
Sisters.
So it's I feel bad for Devontae Adams a little bit, but
for sure.
I think they'll be better than they were. For whatever reason.
And in news, the People's 2 days ago, Sunday, a trade that was perplexed a lot of folks. Jalen Ramsey goes from the Rams to the Dolphins. You called it.
He had been praying
back
on
in
that
the fall
for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. God was like, I can't get to the Middle East right now, but I'll send you to Miami.
Who's been hitting me
I
up
love when
every day is Jalen Ramsey.
We used to yeah. He's just leaving him on red. But then, people are all praying in the shower.
Yeah.
The Bucks were I've been in Rams prayers where we were 3-11. God's not going to prioritize. If there's any sporting events, it's not the one at the Edward Jones Dome, which, by the way, real quick.
Battlehawk Nation?
A Miller Lite mention viewing party, which I am also announcing is being consolidated. Viewing party and Fly on the Wall. We're going to.
Oh, thank God.
Viewing Fly.
God.
Viewing Fly.
I just made it up.
Fly.
So still going to be just as hard to explain. But thank you, God, for answering my prayer.
I'll think of a name, but it's going to be some conglomeration.
How about Fly on the Wall?
Yeah.
Fly on the Wall.
Okay.
I'd have liked to have been a Fly on the Wall at the Edward Jones Dome. When I saw the videos, I felt a little something inside, dude. We lost a lot, but it was a good time. The repetition of noon game, your whole routine, driving back home, grabbing some Schlafly's.
The real warm yellow lighting.
Then going to Pepper Lounge, then going to the east side and eating a fucking hot dog in the parking lot. Some people think it's gross to eat a hot dog in the parking lot of a strip club. I don't. But that whole, I did it a million times, and the fans were always rowdy, the ones that were there, especially through some lean years, and to see them show up and the attendance be super high, not surprisingly, 38,000 to see an XFL game. It warmed my heart. And I tweeted, the dome is back. And somebody put it really succinctly in the mentions and I said, damn, you're right. I said, the dome never left, football left us. And I thought that was pretty powerful, and that's the way the fans feel, and you can see it when they show up in droves to support an XFL team. So
I bet the building's hosted like a Mary Kay convention in the meantime, something like that.
Yep.
Probably hasn't just been sitting empty.
No, but the energy of the dome, like when I watched the video, had you changed the T-shirts on the fans, it was the same rowdy energy, and I missed the place. So we're talking about Jalen. obviously, although I said, they need to move Jalen, they need to move, you need to look at moving Aaron. Matthew Stafford, I don't know what the mechanism is as to his guarantees, but he's untradeable. If you cut him, though, I think you save a bunch of money. I don't think Rams fans, who I've mixed it up with a little bit online, seem to grasp the concept that, it's far from a sure thing this guy's going to be healthy and upright the entire season. I know he just won you a Super Bowl, but I'm just putting all the pieces together, the context, what I've looked at throughout his career, the attrition, and I don't know. So I don't know. My point is, I think if I was running the Rams, I'd say reset right now. And Jalen is a piece of that. He's big time cap relief. I'm not saying it's like an NBA trade.
Yeah.
That's just cap
Part of
relief.
it's trading the contract.
They got a tight end with my last name.
Yep.
Long.
Yep. And they got a third round pick, 77th pick. So this isn't like an earth shattering haul, and I would have liked them to get more. But it does relieve some of the cap. That doesn't mean they're going to make a big move a la the Dolphins when they cleared all that cap space last week, and you thought, maybe quarterback, but then they picked up Tua's option, and it happened to be for the guy we're talking about all along, Jalen Ramsey. Mm-hmm. So, and they'll rework that deal a little bit there to make it more team friendly. But I do think this negotiation was anchored by his salary. And I also think if I was the Rams, I would have done this last year.
Yeah.
I would have done this last fall. I don't know what their timeline in their heads were, but if I know I'm going to reset in some capacity, we're out of it pretty early last year.
Or maybe at the trade deadline last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Last year at the trade deadline. Because look at what you got for Darius Slay. And that was a couple years ago. Or look what you get for a guy when a team's trying to make a playoff push. There's no leverage right now for the Rams, and so it ended up being a fire sale.
But the thing that people don't think about, as you mentioned, contract, is they also can use that money that they've freed up to then sign an asset that you can either play or trade down the line. So it's not like just the third round pick and the tight end. There's also whomever you sign with that money that you freed up.
No question. Yeah, and you should look at it that way. And from that standpoint, that's what makes it a good trade for the Rams.
And Jalen Ramsey's going to save some money in state taxes. He saves over $2 million.
Incredible. And back in the state of Florida, is this his best uni yet? Is he going to look the best in this uniform?
Those black Jacksonville jerseys are solid.
They worked great for him.
Worked great.
I hate the Dolphins. I mean, if they wore the Merinos, they're perfect.
I think they look great.
I don't like the font, and I don't like the new Dolphin. I like the old Dolphin.
I like the old ones, but the new ones are fine.
In the lettering,
the Rams should keep going. They really should commit to this thing. On the Dolphin side of things, they've low-key been ruthless in the pursuit of winning the last couple of years. I mean, look at it.
Well, and they just signed a little bit of insurance at quarterback.
In Mike White. But look what they did. They fired a good head coach in Flores. He was doing fine. The upside was realized in Mike McDaniels, but they had yacht tampering and the ensuing docking of picks.
Yep.
Then they had the concussion thing last year where it was they're kind of playing Tua no matter what. And now they're setting that capital that they have remaining on fire and trying to win now with a quarterback on a rookie deal. So I really respect their pursuit of winning, not the concussion thing, but they're kind of like a movie team right now. They're doing whatever it takes to win.
Oh, and they tried to give Tom Brady ownership and partner him with Sean Payton.
That's the yacht stuff.
We got to wait for that doc to come out.
Exactly. And we'll see what surfaces. But
low key, that's like your third pun.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't mean all of them. But Vic Fangio, he's never had a group this talented. And as Reed pointed out, what'd you say about the safeties?
Well, the safeties usually are the basis of his defense. Now he has two corners that can take pressure off those safeties. And I mean, you look at other teams, right? When the other team's defense is on the field, you have to account for two top end wide receivers. You have to have two good enough corners or scheme well enough against those two guys to take them away or try to. And then when your offense goes on the field, you have 2 top-end DBs that you have to account. You have to have wide receivers good enough to go against these DBs to move the ball well enough so you're not just a one-dimensional side.
And you mentioned the safety thing. I mean, Holland is a guy they love. I mean, he's a hell of a ball player. So Fangio walks in the door and he's happy, but you bolster the corner position, which, like to think that you would get a guy like this. I know his play dipped last year, but corner is a variable position where guys can play good one year, bad the next year. Betting on him being closer to that kind of all-pro Jalen Ramsey in years past, and to pay this for him, I mean, this isn't bad. And this was a weakness for you last year. And, now you have 3 blue-chip DBs. You have 3 blue-chip guys on your front, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Wilkins as well, Christian Wilkins. So this is a really talented defense, and teams are going to have to score to keep up with that offense. And so, you secure the back end. It's pretty good strategy for them.
And they're building it like a team with a quarterback on a rookie deal should.
Yep.
Cowboy, what if you're like a brilliant defensive football mind? Have you thought about that? What if you're like Romeo Crennel? Have you thought about leaving the podcast to pursue your dream of coaching?
Does Romeo have time to cross-country ski? And
well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Shows.
Maybe he's putting his time in the wrong places.
Yeah.
What if you're Leslie Frazier?
You're trying to fuck up the pot. I mean, leave.
It'd be cool. It'd be great for the show if
we could definitely get him as a guest.
Yeah. Could we get you on?
Oh, no problem. Okay. I think all of my, past certainly lines me up well for a gig in the NFL.
Yeah, you're like Buddy Ryan. I see you. I think Buddy Ryan.
I'd take the cowboy hat from upstairs and the glasses that are lying around here somewhere. Fit into Buddy Ryan pretty well.
So we were talking about, the Rams and what I think they should do. It's pretty interesting the last couple of years that the Rams and the Saints have kind of been like vying for the NFC. Like, if you remember that game in New Orleans with the big missed call, the big bad call.
Sure.
And the Senate hearings that followed, I think, in Louisiana.
Yeah.
But like these two teams were the cream of the crop in the NFC. And the Rams cashed in. Obviously, they were a little bit more aggressive with burning capital, but the Saints did not. And I think that does affect how you think about, Saints we had one of the oldest rosters in the league last year. Both these teams were picked to make runs last year. Neither of them had the year that they hoped they would have. The Saints, I thought, had a good football team if everybody stayed healthy and they had a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to reason, hey, we have a better quarterback. We have probably the best defense that he's had, in the past few years for sure. I think they were top 5 in red zone, top 5 in yardage. They were like top 10 in EPA. You're trying to convince yourself to keep the window open. You're trying to continue to take a crack at it with some of the core players that you've had on this run, where the Rams are saying, hey, fuck it, we're hitting the reset button.
It's also harder to do in a small market, like the full-on rebuild, like, hey, we're going to suck for a year.
Yeah.
That's harder to do in a place like New Orleans.
Yeah, the trash bags come out. But I think a big part of this is it's hard to have it on your conscience to say, hey, we're waving the white flag in a division where there's no quarterback that you got to beat currently. I mean, like you're talking about Baker Mayfield in Tampa, rookie quarterback in Carolina. We'll get to the Carolina trade right now, but Atlanta, I mean, nice young core of skill position players, but short of them landing Lamar, is it going to be Anthony Richardson? Like, are they going to trade up? That division's kind of wide open. So you could be looking at just by having a stable presence at quarterback. And I think Carmichael, who a lot of people want gone, will actually do fine with Derek Carr. You could be looking at hosting a playoff game. Like, this is not easy money. There's no easy money in the NFL, but here's an opportunity. And I see why they're not hitting the reset button, but it is risky.
They are the favorite in the NFC South right now.
They should be, yeah.
And you mentioned that Bears-Carolina trade. Yeah. Did you have a team that came out on top?
Well, it always looks like the Bears come out on top in these situations, right? And if you look at the history of like teams that have traded up to get their guy at number one, there have not been a bunch of trades for number ones in the league's history. I think the closest thing to somebody actually nailing it Michael Vick, but they also were working at a deficit, building the infrastructure around him. And that's the problem is like Carolina, there's no wide receivers. Like this young guy is going to come in and throw to a bunch of shadow program guys.
And it's not like you have McCaffrey either anymore. You have a running back by committee.
Can I read you the 12 names that have been picked at number 1 when somebody's come up to get them since 1967?
I looked at this. Yeah, go.
Jared Goff, Michael Vick, Orlando Pace. That worked.
It worked, but I think Walter Jones was drafted at 6 by the team that they gave the pick to.
Keyjana Carter, Russell Maryland, Jeff George, Irving Fryer, Earl Campbell, Steve Bartkowski, Ed Jones, Ron Yeri, doesn't sound right, and Bubba Smith.
So needless to say, some great names in there, but not at quarterback, save for Michael Vick, and that didn't get him over the hump.
It's pretty similar to the trade that the Rams made when you were on the team.
With Washington.
Like you guys had a quarterback already, and you sent the pick that became RG3 to Washington for like comparable.
Yeah.
It's pretty, like that pick is probably more valuable than this pick.
When we ran out all the players that we got in the hall for the coin toss at the Washington game.
When I first saw it, I thought I think they could have gotten more, no pun intended, but then I think DJ Moore is the game changer.
That's the game changer.
Because now you don't have to go searching for a receiver.
The contract's not too bad.
Not bad. Ryan Pace said he knew he could get 2 1s in 2 seconds, and he gets that plus DJ Moore.
Ryan Poles.
Poles, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good Ryan Pace ghost.
Yeah.
So
little combo.
Like I again, Poles, Yates, Cunningham.
Yep.
Friend of mine, hopefully one day a friend of the program.
What's taking him so long?
Yeah, I know. He's been dangling that carrot. I tried him again after this trade. He said, I got to wait till, one day I'm a real name. So they just continue to do a good job with a quarterback that they didn't put in their orbit. Like, they're supporting Justin Fields. Like, that's a tough decision. Maybe, depending on where you sit. I think the talent's too much to move on from him. But it's hard sometimes to get behind a guy that's not your guy, and they're doing it. And I think they're doing it well. And, if you look at this trade, I think Carolina's still struggling next year, chances are, and that pick's still going to be up near the top of the draft.
Yeah.
So...
And it looks like the number 1 pick will be C.J. Stroud if Carolina keeps it.
Yeah, and that makes sense. It makes the Carolina pick at 3 like the hottest real estate on the market, to use a metaphor that might strike.
Not the Carolina pick. Who's got the 3rd pick?
No, did I say Carolina? The Cardinals.
Cardinals pick
at 3.
Yep.
The Arizona pick at 3 is going to be just hot real estate. And
you think somebody will trade up to grab that, and then we'll have 4 quarterbacks taken with the first 4 picks?
I don't know. I'm
who should trade it? The Carolina Panthers should trade down to 3, and this C.J. Stroud deal could be a smokescreen.
I know, but
let's play some chess.
I heard this theory that they might now trade back and recoup, but why make a trade at all?
I don't buy that.
Do you net out any better?
But let's say you're a GM, and you have the 1 pick.
Yeah.
Is that way better than being a GM and having the 4 pick and being like, I have to take Will Levis. He's the last guy there. There's no pressure on you to make the right decision.
Right. You just have to roll with it. But I don't think anybody remembers that. I mean, the thing that makes it tough, I think, with the trade up forecast is Anthony Richardson, because he's so variable. Somebody might want him pretty early and might be deathly afraid of somebody moving up to 3 to get him. So I think the Bears now have the best wide receiver core in the NFC North.
And all young players, 25, 24. Cole Kmet is
Take
right
the pressure off of Chase Claypool, too.
Exactly.
It's probably not going to go down as the best trade in history.
Right.
But, you can do a lot to kind of mitigate that by just taking pressure off him and having that true number 1, who I think is fantastic, and DJ Moore. DJ Moore has played most of his career catching balls from...
the list is ridiculous. He had a couple from Taylor Heineke, too, in there.
So hopefully Justin Fields doesn't end up a name on that list. But Another quarterback thing here is Danny Dimes. I mean, I hadn't talked about that with you. You feel good?
I do feel good. I do feel good. If it can only get better from there, why not roll the dice? I mean, there was a playoff win in year one.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people, I'm not comparing him and Lamar Jackson, but they have the same amount of playoff wins, right?
Right.
And I think, had the Giants exercised his option, maybe you'd have an opportunity, as I understand it, then to franchise him now. And I know some people are like the player probably plays better with the big deal in hand, but I don't know that. I think it's a nice carrot to dangle that, hey, like, you're still proving it, and I'd like to see him 1 year with good weapons. Mm-hmm. Like, is it a deal where it really makes a big difference, or if they go out and get a veteran wide receiver, which they need to now, Adam Thielen's out there, I don't know.
Yeah.
Draft guys, like, they trot out a better group than Hodgins and fucking whoever else.
Rich James.
Yeah, and God, you probably missed the hell out of Evan Ingram last year.
Well, he decided to start catching balls.
Yeah, well, Dougie P, like, if he doesn't look much better and you're sitting there and now you're pot committed to him for a couple years, the good thing is he's tradable like 3 years in, like very tradable. Contract's not so bad, but like, there is a school of thought that says, hey, it would have been nice had you picked up the option.
For sure. Who's dropping just a little bit is that Michael Mayer, and the Giants are at 25.
Yeah, I don't know. 25 is gonna do it for him.
I think he's slipping for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But Mayer or Dalton,
he ran like me.
Dalton Kincaid at Utah.
he had like my measurables right now. But he's just a square-jawed football player. Central casting. Draft the guy.
Yeah. Well, you don't need a burner when you got Richie James running around out there.
Yep. But you need wide receivers there. So another one is, the Robert Woods signing. Don't let me forget that one, because I think Robert Woods is a fine player. I know he's had injuries. The class is not deep at wide receiver. So, like, it's bad. Overpaying a little bit for him, it could have been much worse. And if you're going to draft a quarterback, you got to give him a good, solid player to throw the ball to. And if you're trading for Kirk Cousins or something like that, which I've heard rumblings that maybe he's for sale.
And you're talking about the Texans.
I'm talking about the Texans. Yeah, Robert Woods signed with Houston. So I think it's a good move. And he's a good veteran wide receiver. Like, you can have a real asshole in the room, and he could be productive and get open, but he might be a tremendous strain on a young quarterback. This guy, I've never heard a peep. He's like awesome. Great guy. So,
and if Brandon Cooks ends up staying, he doesn't get traded. That's not a bad, double veteran.
I think Cooks is, you're right.
Pretty
solid. I think Cooks is probably gone. And I also, they were shopping somebody else too, as well. Houston, there's Tunsil.
Yeah, Laramie.
It's not the best tackle class.
No,
you just saw what Denver paid for McGlinchey.
And Juwan,
I didn't see, but you saw.
Yeah. Juwan Taylor just got picked up by the Chiefs.
Okay.
So Jacksonville tackle now to Kansas City after Kansas City let
$60 million
Orlando
guaranteed.
go.
Bears should take that big old tackle from Northwestern.
Yeah.
We're sitting there at 9.
There's some really curious edge rushers who I can't really put my finger on, like, why I would see them being top 10 picks this year. Like the kid from Iowa, like, watch him go out and be awesome just because I said that. I'm a little bit up and down on the kid from Clemson.
Miles Murphy.
I like the Texas Tech kid.
Kyrie.
Obviously, Bama kid's a sure shot. But there's some guys in there that I'm just not so sure about.
And then Nolan Smith, Georgia, was the combine darling.
Yeah, and you know what? He's a good football player. Different kind of guy than some of the guys I just described. Speaking of D linemen, Deron Payne got the bag. The only thing I'll say about this is Quentin Williams and Jeffrey Simmons getting good night's sleep.
Yep.
Might be sleeping the best because the money is going to be good.
And Hargrave showed it too with his big deal.
Hargraves, who just signed with the Niners the first hour of free agency, you knew he'd walk. He was going to command $20 million a year. The Eagles weren't going to pay that. And
Bosa, Armstead,
and
Hargrave.
This was the big fucking void for them.
Yeah.
Like if you watch San Francisco play defense against the Eagles, they ran all over this defense, and a lot of it came down to problems on the interior.
Kinlaw was just getting destroyed at the point of attack.
He was in the pool, man. Couldn't swim. And, like, you think about adding Hargraves to that mix, it does bolster the interior in a big way. Eagles news. Darius Slay, possibly a mover, but Jalen Ramsey's haul kind of, I know you get more for Slay probably, but it throws a little water on it. I think Slay to Denver is a possibility. I just, would you like that?
I would. Two top corners in Slay and Patrick, PS2.
Yeah. You can say Surtain.
Okay.
I know it doesn't look like it, but you can say it.
Thank you.
CJ Gardner-Johnson also possibly unhappy, possibly on the way out.
Well, for some of these guys, they have been told, "Hey, go look for a trade. No problem. We want you back, but go look for a trade. See what the market is.
Yeah,
and then we can go work on a deal from there." And you saw Kelsey back to the Eagles earlier, and how happy Howie was in that video when it was announced. And
they feel being Cam Jurgens.
Yeah,
you're like, I'm chilling another year.
Right. Well, they
could he play guard?
That's what they're talking about moving him to.
Because Samalu is
on the way
almost
out.
Certainly a Bear, or a Bronco, from what I hear. And TJ Edwards, gets a big deal in Chicago, which means the Kobe Dean's era has begun, and Eagles fans are jazzed about that.
And it was wild. In the spot starts he had, he played phenomenally. He was graded really high. I think in one quarter, he came in one quarter late in the season, and he ended up leading the team in tackles in just one quarter, 10 minutes or so play.
He's active. He's active for sure. One last thing, Fletcher Cox, there's been rumblings that, it would make sense that he's on the move. Him and D'Amico Ryans played together.
Yeah.
Great.
I could see him in some cowboy boots and a big bucket hat.
Doing the
yeah, dude.
Patriots, big Patriots guy walking around in the cowboy boots.
Vince Wilfork. He could a resurrected Vince Wilfork.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
And I want to. You said the Patriots. It made me think of this. Devin McCourty, when you think about a teammate and you think about a football player, like I play with a lot of guys. When a name is mentioned, the way that name makes me feel is more predicated on the type of teammate they were than the type of player. But if they were both, I just have so much respect for the cat. He was an all-pro corner, safety, and just an amazing teammate. One of the guys that immediately I gel with in New England, and still a great friend. Came down last year for my golf tournament in May. It was the first one ever. Stayed out, hung out with me by the pool till 4 a.m, just catching up. He's a fucking good friend. He never gets too big time, and he's had so much success. So I'm just so thankful I play with Devin McCourty, and congratulations to him for hanging it up and going out on his own terms. One team, multiple championships, leadership role. Certainly you could be his name will be on the Hall of Fame stuff. I don't know if he's going to go, but he's that type of respected guy.
For sure.
And Matt Slater, another guy I put in that category who's still up there, and I guess maybe he'll play another year.
Looks like it.
So
I want to make a public cry, I guess, for Calais Campbell. Come home. He's a Denver native.
Yeah.
Coloradoan.
Yeah.
So bring him on home. If Draymond Jones goes, let's get Calais.
Altitude might be a problem for him though. He's starting at a mile high.
Yeah.
And then he's
going
much taller.
Right.
So if you think about, I don't know,
5,287 feet.
Exactly. That's
up there. You all right, Kingston? Oh man.
You think about it, he just goes to Denver and he's just walking around out there. Yeah.
We've got one more. You mentioned the Colts with the 4th pick. Would it make sense for them? they would get the fourth best quarterback in this draft, would they forfeit that pick and next year's first rounder for a shot at Lamar?
So it's interesting you mentioned this, Reed. I mean, what do you think about that? Trading back the day of the draft, having some capital to recoup what you're going to have to pay for Lamar. I don't know if Lamar is still going to be there, when the draft happens.
I kind of would rather have the quarterback at Southern California at this point.
I would too.
I think
I would too. But say you're pressed to have a quarterback. This is an interesting thought that Reed brought up. Here's my thing on the Lamar thing, which I was glad I was on vacation because, listen, these are old billionaire boys club guys. Like, yeah, they collude, like they talk amongst each other. I've seen, No, they don't want the guaranteed contract thing to happen. Like, they're going to do what they can to have that not happen. But when I see a list of teams that are out on Lamar, people are up in arms at, like, somebody's, like, the gall to turn down a chance at Lamar and a fully guaranteed contract and giving up 2 first rounds for this guy who I have the utmost respect for and I think is a hell of a football player. And if I was a GM, I'd probably take a shot at Lamar. But not every team has to want to do that. It doesn't have to be collusion.
The only thing that doesn't make sense is why announce it? Like, why announce it right away?
I don't know. But it's also like if you're going to be in the market for Lamar, you probably don't telegraph that either. So, I mean, I'm totally fine with acknowledging the collusion. I'm on the player's side here like everybody else seemingly in the world. But not every team has to want to give that up, to get a player that hasn't finished last 2 years. And, a lot of his biggest critics, whether it was disingenuous or not, intellectually dishonest, were like, yeah, well, his style of play is going to get him hurt. And, what about the durability of this guy? Now he's on the other side of 25. And, I could see concerns being enough not to want to spend 2 firsts and pay this guy all this money, especially if there's one team for me that I like the idea of it, it's the Falcons, because I just feel like him and Arthur Smith would be great. And you look at Algiers on a rookie deal. You have Algier, you have Patterson, you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts. That could be fun, right? But I do think that not everybody has to want to go rush to the front of the line to sign Lamar Jackson in this situation. And I also do think it's okay to acknowledge that if he had an agent right now, I feel like, agents tamper, dude. They find shit out. Before you enter that franchise tag negotiation, you probably know, if you have an agent, who's going to be in the mix for you.
Yep.
And I do feel like he's flying a little bit more blind than he. Forget if, the system we currently have adopted for, representation of NFL players, if it's perfect. It's not perfect. It's not ideal. But in this scenario, there is a competitive disadvantage for not having that person, in my opinion. Now, somebody might hear this and be like, Chris, you're like a turncoat or something like. But no, I'm not. I get it. I get why guys represent themselves, but this is a tricky situation.
DC, Bieniemy?
Yeah, Commanders. Yeah, could be fun. Listen, I love Lamar, but people were just shocked.
Wouldn't a lot of teams also be incentivized to wait until after the draft? Because, you owe 2 first-round picks if you get them. If you wait till after the draft, it's 2 first-round picks in 24 and 25.
See, this is where I'm out of my depth.
If you're signing Lamar to be good.
Yeah.
So
you're signing Lamar
you would want to defer and have those draft picks be later, not now, because you'd want to win this season.
Sure. And yeah, you want to win right now. You're not rebuilding. Mm-hmm. You're making the move to try to win. Another thing is, if Lamar is who he's been, you're going to have this show-stopping playmaking ability, this electric passer and runner. But what you're going to have is, if you got the Lamar that we've already seen, is that netted out to 1 playoff win. Mm-hmm. So imagine giving, bless you, Reed, bless you.
Bless you, Cowboy.
Imagine giving him the bag to the degree that you're going to have to do it to get it and to give up those picks. And then, say in 4 years, you've won 1 or 2 playoff games.
It's a risk.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
People are going to look back and be like, why'd you do it? and this is, so I'm a huge Lamar fan, and I probably would do the thing depending on the team I was. But like Indy, if I don't love those rookie quarterbacks, I'm going to do the thing. But I also understand why some other teams might not want to do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Lamar, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman.
yeah.
Team could win.
Yeah, it could. And, you invest in the defense, the thing goes. So last thing is we can't talk about the NFL without talking about Aaron Rodgers. I thought Aaron Rodgers might be using the Jets to drive up interest from the Raiders. Not that he'd need to, I guess, but that was my conspiracy brain at work. The darkness retreat was like many moons ago. Mm-hmm. And now the Jets are like it.
He's holding them captive right now.
By the way, the Lamar situation, the Ravens are kind of held captive.
Oh, yeah.
The Rodgers saga, it can't end with him going back now, right? We know this, right?
Cannot.
I think he's going to leave. I don't know what the holdup is. And I think it would be awesome. Like I would definitely want Aaron Rodgers to be my quarterback if I was a Jets fan. But this thing is just dragging out. It's the first day of free agency, but
I think it'll happen.
yeah.
What about retirement? Where do you put that? Do you put that above or below back to Packers?
Maybe above.
Okay.
Because you just can't go back, dude.
Well, and especially after what the Packers have said in the last week.
You can't go back.
They said we're good.
He might go back and be like, I can go back, like I can do whatever the fuck I want. But it's just, it would look so wild, And I also think he has a better chance of winning in New York.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck it, do it. Part of it might be like, when you're like, I'm not going to grow up to be just like my dad, And Brett Favre, there's a moment.
Rodgers is probably doing crimes too.
Yeah. For me, there's a moment where in my new house, we have all these doors that you have to pull them up to lock them. I don't know how you describe those doors. You pull the handle up.
People know, yeah.
Yeah, well, my dad knows, and he spends all his time locking the doors in his house and showing you how to lock the doors in his house. It's the thing me and my brothers talk about, and I found myself a week ago at 11 p.m. walking around doing the door. And I was like, fuck, and it's not so bad because my dad's living the life, but I'm like my dad.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm Brett Favre. And I'm going to New York.
Wasn't it around this time he was texting strange photos?
Yeah, I don't think that's coming, but I don't want to put that evil on him. I don't think he's building a gymnasium with welfare funds, but I don't think I'm not accusing him of being a bad person. But what I'm saying is he's doing the Brett Favre thing, and maybe part of the holdup for him is existential. He's like, I don't want to do what my dad did. I don't want your life. And
I don't want your life.
Is it just a new to you door handle mechanism, or have you never locked your doors before?
No, I just didn't have this many doors with this mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're everywhere.
Okay.
We got a lot of windows and doors. So I hope Aaron Rodgers is a Jet for the sake of the league, for entertainment, for the Jets fans, for Joe Douglas. But let's get this show on the road.
Well, I want to mention
156.
This podcast, this company's doing great and everything, but I think what we need to do is get you in a workout and then have you demand $20 million a year to come back to the NFL.
For sure. I might go to the Battlehawks.
It'd be
for
great.
$20K a year.
Yeah.
Fuck, I really thought about it. I was
Plus
like,
that win bonus.
How would I do?
Oh, XFL?
Yeah.
I talked about
what if
this
you were
with
the
Bo.
MVP?
Yeah, Bo and Nate were.
MVP.
Bo and Nate think they could still play?
Bo thinks he
Bo
could play
does. Nate
center.
says no. And Nate was saying that he would just pop over to
You give me 2 weeks, I give you 15 snaps. Now, my hamstring might explode, but if I'm healthy, I think I can still, work the hands. So
I think St. Louis would welcome you back for a game.
yeah, but all the fucking players on the Battlehawks would be like, who the fuck is this guy and why? This is stupid.
Chris would be standing there. There was a fire over there, I swear.
Yeah,
10 years ago, there was a big fire.
Anyways, that's where fucking Maurice Jones-Drew decleated me. All right, so let's talk about basketball, shall we?
Yeah, I presume we're going to cut the basketball part and stick it to the front of the show because it's just the hottest thing in the streets right now.
It is.
No better day than Selection Sunday.
I can't wait, dude.
Fired up.
This Thursday, obviously.
Fired up. Well, we both did our 60-second bracket. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, you liked my bracket.
I did.
A little background here. I'm going to talk about college basketball over the next couple weeks, but I don't watch a lot of it. Not until like a week or two ago. So many of these teams that I had advancing through my little bracket, never seen them play.
And you'll probably do better than everybody else.
You like it, though.
Yeah, I like it. My Final Four is the Alabama Crimson Tide, the heartwarming story that is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Look,
so
they are excellent defensively,
yeah,
and they also just happen to score about 90 points a game. I mean, what are you going to do? They start 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot, and the 6'9" guy is one of the best players in the
Here's
country.
what we're going to do. We're going to let due process work itself out, and by the Sweet 16, I hear they could be down 3 starters.
Well,
so
yeah.
I'm like America's teams, Tuscaloosa County Sheriffs.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's get on that, Fauché, right?
Bryant
get
Denny,
on that. Yeah.
County Attorney General.
Yeah, because we might see them in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you want to go region by region? Just a couple things that stand out.
If guys are guilty. Okay, I'm not saying just.
Well, even if they're not, we might want to ask them some questions.
Yeah, maybe we want to ask you a couple questions for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
Alabama's the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah.
And I think that's right. They headline the South. Well, we are Virginia fans. We live in Charlottesville.
Sure.
You know, everybody loves Furman. Furman's a popular upset pick. I got news for you. Every single year, everyone picks the lower seed to upset Virginia. Virginia is always the
because it is a
sexy
sweat fest.
upset.
I wouldn't bet us.
Well, the best coach in the country, Tony Bennett, I think he's had 1 stress-free round of 64 game in his career, and we've been the number 1 seed.
Dude, I logged like 40,000 steps around my kitchen counter the year we won it all.
Yeah,
Gardner Webb.
Dude, down 14 in the first half.
We were down 14 in the first half, a calendar year from the worst day of my sports fandom life.
Our lives would be different had that happened again.
28-3 and that for me.
Yeah. So, and then everybody's talking about Charleston. Golly, San Diego State's really good. The computers have them as the number 11. I think Torvik has them the 11th best team in the country. Kempom has them the 14th best team in the country. So,
and you trust Kempom?
Yeah, Torvik more so, if I'm being honest. I like the NC State Wolfpack to get their act together. Not a very disciplined team, but the guards are buckets, man. Terquavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner and Casey Morsell. DJ Burns is a big guy. They can get by Creighton. I like them to get to that regional final.
Wow.
A little Bama NC State action.
Wow. Yeah, I had NC State winning early and then getting knocked out.
I like Utah State over Missouri. I like Utah State over Arizona. I think the South's going to be nutty.
That's crazy.
Hopefully, hey, it's called March Madness. You want to talk about the South at all? I love this. I just love a bracket. You know, man.
I do too.
Show me a bracket.
My Final Four is UVA, Purdue, Texas, and UCLA.
I got Texas in there too. I got Alabama, Marquette, Texas, and UConn. And I got Alabama over Texas in the national championship game. The East, Purdue, a lot of pressure. Haven't been to a Final Four in a long time. Zach Edey, big guy, does a lot. If he gets into foul trouble, then you're relying on 2 really good guards, but they're freshman guards in the big dance. It tends not to work out. However, a lot of grenades in there for Purdue, though.
Yeah.
Memphis with Kendrick Davis is scary.
Dangerous.
FAU's a good team.
Memphis just beat Houston. Duke is playing very well. I happen to like Oral Roberts in that one. Max Asmus. It's spelled A-B-M-A-S, but it's Asmus. He's a great scorer.
Haven't they played Oral before?
They played Mercer. Lost to Mercer.
Yeah.
Lost to Lehigh.
Yeah.
I don't know if they played Oral in the big dance. Tennessee's limping, so they'll be a popular upset pick. But sometimes you rally around the adversity, if you learn to use it the right way, Chris, it can buy you a ticket to a place you couldn't have gotten to any other way.
You know, Oral Roberts is expanding.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't. How so?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Try that one.
Okay. Marquette just won the Big East. Shaka Smart, Tyler Kolek, he's a good player. Cam Jones, he's a good player. East is a little weird for me. Midwest, Houston's the one, not Kansas. So Kansas won't be playing in Kansas City. Kansas has 7 quad 1 losses.
Jeez.
McCullers banged up. Well, they have a million quad 1 wins too. But they were saying maybe they should be in the Midwest and get to go through Kansas City. But nah, they're shipped out west. So it's Houston in the Midwest. I just see a lot of unreliable basketball teams in this tournament, which will make it fun. In the Midwest, Xavier, really high ceiling, really low floor.
Really high seed, too.
Yep.
They're good.
Indiana, you never know what you're going to get. Can see Kent State getting them in round 1. Miami Drake's going to be a barn burner.
Drake.
Yeah.
Doesn't Miami got injury issues?
Yeah, they got a big that's out with an ankle.
We can get the lines on these games, baby.
Yeah, we can.
I can't wait to gamble on this.
I'm going to do it right now.
Like I said, madness. So tread carefully.
So getting ready for the Tatty Champs bet, is there one team you would most like to avoid?
Bama. I think Bama's going to win the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, Oral Roberts. You know? Let's see. Yeah, Maryland? You fucking kidding me? I'd have to do like Terrapin Station. And people would be like,
That sounds cool.
oh man, you like the dead a lot, huh? I'm like, yeah, but
I bet you could find a cool looking turtle to put on. Like, don't you have a sea theme here on one of your
yeah.
I would
appendages?
gladly take.
Turtle?
Yeah, a little sea turtle.
I'd gladly take Maryland because they're not going to win the tournament.
Well, and your name starts with an M. You can
Right.
What do you do about Grand Canyon? Fucking try tattooing a canyon on you.
got some good news. They're the antelopes, so
cool.
have some
Lopes.
fun with that.
Mm-hmm. Iona?
Just Rick Pitino.
That's good. Little portrait. Colgate.
I said, toothpaste. I said UConn out of the West. It feels like a UConn year. 2014, they were a 7 seed. Shabazz Napier took them to the title.
Wow.
It feels like that sort of thing.
Wow.
Feels like that sort of thing. They would see Kansas in the Sweet 16. And UCLA's down there. We'll see how they do without Clark.
I got something
Maybe
for
they'll
you.
be fine.
I
Yeah.
got something for you. You want me to give you my...
Everybody chill out on Gonzaga. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you my tournament breakdown.
Okay.
Dawn Staley looks on as somebody on her team, blocks a shot of somebody on the Hokies,
Yeah.
and eliminates the Hokies.
Yeah.
The Hokies are 1 seed.
They are.
Scary news to me on the women's side.
Yep.
The Hokies are a 1 seed. They have no team national championships.
Shit.
But hey,
They won like a fertilizer. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but they really did like an agriculture
bass fishing.
bass fishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, not an NCAA.
And I respect the Jimmy
sponsored event.
Houstons of the world. But the fact remains that Tech, who, yes, I know you're like, well, you never beat them. Yeah, no, we never beat y'all at football, and you guys were good for a long time at football. But you're not that good anymore.
Past tense.
And this is your best shot to have a team championship under your belt.
The reason I'm not worried is the
Chattanooga.
reason you stated. I don't think South Carolina is beatable in
they're
that tournament. And the only other Power 5 team without a title is K-State. K-State's a 3 seed in this men's tournament. Look out.
For that.
Quite interesting.
Look out.
Yeah, and another thing out of the same region as Virginia Tech is USC and North Dakota State play each other. Notice that North Dakota State is completely white.
Huh.
Just a team is all white.
Uh-huh.
So look for them to make an early exit.
Okay.
I'm going to bet USC.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
I remember how mad people got at me when I said Dante DiVincenzo like gave a bunch of kids false hope. You know, a bunch of little suburban white kids are out in the driveway right now, dribbling the basketball, keeping the neighborhood awake after the Villanova title. And people got so mad at me, man. You know, like it's a fucking joke, man. There's a movie called White Men Can't Jump.
There is.
But there's not a movie called White Women Can't Jump. So buyer beware on USC. all I'm saying. That's my breakdown.
That should be the sequel.
What?
White women can't jump.
Can't jump. It'd be a really good time to do it. You know? White women are, their popularity level is at an all-time low.
Woody Harrelson's daughter.
Come on, dude. Fucking white women just on their cell phones calling the police. They can't jump, though.
Hey, I did a
Whole movie.
They're playing basketball on the court. Somebody come.
Yes. Or like, you know, you gotta like, they're on top of a building, and they gotta jump to the other building to flee. Like,
Right.
Bless you.
Thank you.
and they can't jump.
They just fall in
They're
the
on the
crack.
cell phone the whole time. You can't jump right now. They're on the cell phone calling the police. Anyways, that's
Dark.
who should produce that? Jordan Peele.
UConn has wins over Alabama and Marquette this year. Texas, 2 senior guards, Serge-Jabari Rice, Marcus Carr.
Yeah.
I did a little bracketology event this morning. I was a bracketologist.
Oh, this is
Joe
good.
Lunardi
Yeah.
was there. I was on a panel with Virginia's president Jim Ryan and noted author John Grisham.
Well, it's not Marianne Williamson. I don't care.
2 of my
She, she's gonna be relevant again here soon.
two of my good friends, Caroline Darney and Debbie Stroman. So what I do, my shtick here every year is
Marianne Williamson, your only hope.
all I do is I just throw darts at Grisham, you know.
Yeah.
So I realize that my shtick here doesn't quite carry over to different settings.
Oh, it doesn't carry over here sometimes.
So I said, hey, John, I've recently gotten into reading, you know, set him up for it. It's about time, you know, laughs and stuff. And I said, the Pelican brief, more like the Pelican pretty long.
You didn't.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Oh my God.
I go, you must own a thesaurus. And, you know, kind of, you know, a smattering of laughter. So then I just had to keep going back in on the Pelican brief until people find, you know, Norm Macdonald sort of bomb on purpose situation.
Luncheons are hard.
Yeah, it was a breakfast.
Yeah, I was saying breakfast would be even harder.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
luncheons are harder than breakfast, though. 'Cause
Probably
breakfast,
so.
At least people are like, I just woke up. let's get
Hammering
this shit over
coffee.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to eat breakfast anyways, but a luncheon?
Yeah. Yeah. Lunardi was there. He was funny.
Were any UVA players there?
You didn't know UVA players were
yeah.
there, so you
So I had to send in my Final Four picks the night before. I did not know Kihei Clark and Jaden Gardner were going to be in the building. So a lot of my prepared remarks were about how Alabama's going to win the national championship and how good San Diego State is.
Jesus, we're never going to get any of these guys on the podcast.
Well, you know, a little motivation, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe like, hey, that aging realtor is doubting us. Let's give it our all. But if Virginia gets out that first weekend, they'll go to the Yum Center in Louisville, where it's a home away from home. All they do is win there. They beat Louisville. They
Buzzer beaters.
They advance to the Final Four from Louisville. They've done it before. They can do
Yum
it again.
Center.
The KFC Yum Center.
It's a good spot.
Let's kick off our Tatty Champs.
Champs.
All right, so the first round is the prize, right?
Yes.
And the only way you can get out of getting a tattoo is if you donate $100,000 to Water
I don't know
Boys.
if I would even. Oh God.
That's
Yeah.
and actually Bo
No.
No, you're not accepting the
No,
100.
I'll donate the 1,000. Just
I said 100.
Oh, 100?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, no.
so
That's a well.
Get out of a tattoo. Oh, 100,000?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100,000. That'll work.
Okay. All
I thought
right.
you were saying 1,000.
No, $100,000.
Dropped to zero.
a quick so
zeros.
we need to
Couple zeros.
approve or disapprove 2 participants. Bo said he would play but he would not get a tattoo. Is he in or out?
He's out.
Out.
Kidding
Good.
me?
See ya, Bo.
Jesus.
I know how much you hate being on the outside looking in.
Wow.
FOMO, Prince of FOMO. I'll have
And
a little
then-
FOMO now. We're going to talk about this so much.
And Kyle said he was in. He did mention henna tattoo.
No, guys.
It's either a tattoo or
100%
not.
tattoo.
the real
Okay.
deal here.
Good.
Is he-
Tatty
I just
Champs.
wanted to
Let's
be
give him his. Let's give him his teams, and we'll blindly ask him one more time at the time of
Got it.
conclusion of this thought.
perfect.
And we're going to do a fan team as well. So one maybe lucky, maybe unlucky fan out there is going to join in as well.
Yes.
All right.
Keep your eyes peeled for that.
Will you
shit.
read the names of the person who's up, and then I'll do the draw?
So first we're gonna go Chris.
Are the teams,
Chris is first.
And this is prize, right?
This is prize.
Are the teams on the balls? Okay. Oh, jeez.
Do your worst.
Did that come out? That's his team?
Kentucky.
Oh, so that's money. They're probably not going to win.
Yep.
Whatever. Just about the tattoo.
All right, wait. Is this also Chris? Or are we doing all monies first?
All monies. Reed
do
just
all
needs to
monies.
keep running
All
through
monies.
the names. Who's up next?
And I'm sorry.
Kingston is next.
I'm sorry. Now, are all the teams going back into the thing for the tattoos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Nothing
Kingston,
further.
you're next.
Northwestern. That's
Ooh.
not good.
Yikes.
Who's next?
Northwestern, I think, is going to win a game, though. I think they can get Boise, then lose to UCLA.
All right, Macon, it's you.
Cowboy, look alive, man. He's looking for you for who's next.
Well, I'm just double checking this list because there's some names that weren't on it, and I did not write the list. So
Mizzou.
Yeah, there's some pretty serious list discrepancies going on back here.
Mizzou.
all good.
Mizzou.
So Mizzou is number 3. That was for Macon.
I mean, they're going to get blown out by Utah State.
So-
you have to root against your team.
Well, I'm going to. Mizzou.
So we have Kentucky picked. We have Missouri picked. Who was the second pick?
I got Northwestern.
Northwestern. Good deal.
All right,
and
next
now
is
I am next.
Somebody's getting a goddamn tattoo this year. There's a lot of people on this list.
I know.
Reed, you got UVA.
All right.
Wow. Go Who's.
Would you even want a Cavalier
Scott
tattoo?
is next.
You'd make it cool somehow.
Yeah, you can make it cool, but
I would get that
I
tattoo.
actually had to put the horse with the musketeer on there. I don't know.
I this weekend in
No disrespect to
Greensboro,
Cam.
guy told a story. He was sitting next to Big Boy from Outkast watching the Virginia-Memphis game a few years back, and Big Boy looks over to him in the second half, and he goes, "Is your mascot a pimp or a pirate?"
Hey, that's so fucking good. He's right.
Yes.
It'd be a tough deal to have to ink.
Yeah.
Scott got South Dakota
That's
State.
so good.
Or
I
SDG.
pray,
That's
South Dakota.
San Diego State, sorry.
I pray that's true.
It is. No.
This is the Nate pick.
We're gonna at Big Boy.
All right, this is Nate's pick. I'm not
Big
manipulating.
Memphis basketball fan, Big
Really?
Boy. That's how we'll know. Yeah.
Nate's money team is Marquette. Pretty good selection.
Okay.
right.
2 seed in the East.
And now we're going Kyle. Kyle's money team.
Yeah, Kyle. We'll give you fucking IOUs, and you can get a henna tattoo. Fucking fake money,
Houston.
fake tattoo.
Houston, the number 1
That's a
seed out of the Midwest.
Solid pick for Kyle.
Now we're on to Ralph.
Might want to do it now.
Mm-hmm. Ralph.
Xavier.
Xavier.
Maybe.
Not
Xavier
bad.
for Ralph. And now we've got Fauché.
Look, hey, Xavier is playing Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State, sick coach. Amir Abdur-Rahim.
Yeah.
He's
ill?
he's really cool and going places. Not that Kennesaw State's not a place; it is a place. Maybe going to a bigger market.
Fauché's pick is.
Arizona. Oh. Very, very strong.
And now
Maybe
we've
my
got the
pick to win
fan
it.
And he's a starving college kid, so
Right, that's
go
big.
far.
Make some money.
A lot of
It's like
drugs.
charity.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
The fans get Creighton.
Do you
Now
want to like
dump
really
them all
shake
back
that?
in, shake it up,
Yeah,
and
shake it up.
we'll
Put it
start from the top.
Tattoo teams, the Tatty teams. All right.
That's when it gets real.
You're like Christopher Walken
This
in
does not
Vietnam.
count. This ball fell out.
The deer hunter reference.
Yeah. Talked about Russian roulette a few
Yeah.
times. All right, who's up first?
Chris is up.
All right, Chris, this is your Tatty team.
Good luck, man.
Wow, I saw that it almost was Texas.
Click.
It's Duke.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude.
Amazing.
You have got to be kidding me. There is not a tattoo in the world.
Give him a hot little
No. I
John
thought John
Shire.
Shire.
Figure it out.
A devil?
You could figure
That's
it out.
blue?
You could do like a pitchfork or something.
Yeah.
There's
You
the
could make it
$100,000
okay.
buyout.
The worst part is that it's because it's Duke, and they're playing really well, and they're one of the most talented teams, and they got an
General
easy draw.
Hospital guys gonna be cutting down the nets.
I mean,
And I'm going to be looking like some damn trailer park trash.
if they get by
With the
Purdue,
devil tattoo.
they get by Purdue in the Sweet 16. I mean, they're probably winning the national
Looking
championship.
like a fucking carny. Come on.
You and Steve will be crying for different reasons.
Yeah.
Now we've got Kingston.
Can I get
Kingston,
Steve
your
Steve
Tatty
tattoo?
champ pick.
Oh my God! Is this
Yeah.
Somebody asked me if Ken Flagel was my dad on vacation. No.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Creighton. Creighton.
Creighton in there twice.
Fuck, dude. This
Now
is
Macon's
not good.
Tatty champ pick.
This is not good.
I can't believe you got Duke.
What do you mean if they get through Purdue? Like, there's nobody else that can beat them? Talk to me.
Hold on, I just got, what is it?
Mizzou.
Oh, thank
my
God.
this
Lucky bastard.
fucking piece of
Thank God.
Wow. So money and tattoo.
Hey, yeah.
Look
Can't
at
do
that.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're all in there,
Yeah,
pal.
you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do
The
it.
bylaws.
That
in the
counts. All
bylaws?
right.
was
Now
just-
mine. Give me my Tatty.
Yo,
Texas.
Oral
Texas,
could get Duke.
Texas.
I'm going to root so hard for
Oh, Reed,
Oral.
you were
Everybody.
so lucky. I thought it said Kansas, but it's Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Hey.
I wouldn't mind a Razorback.
That's
on
true.
the-
That'd be
on
a
the tail. That'd
dope.
be kind of cool.
That'd be a dope
Kind of
tattoo.
cool.
God.
All right, Scott. Scott's Tatty
Scott's
team.
Tatty team.
Arizona. Fucking
Hey, they'd have to get by a really bad Tennessee team in the second round. You're going to be fine.
bad Tennessee.
Well, they lost their best player.
Iowa is Scott's money team, or Scott's Tatty team.
Man.
Pretty lucky. Really, only Chris is getting bad luck so
yeah,
far.
well,
Yeah.
All right,
Right.
now we got Nate.
I
Nate's
gotta pay,
tattoo
I gotta
team.
pay the
Taxes.
motherfucker.
And Nate's gonna say that I cheated once we give him a good team, but I swear I'm not cheating.
Oh, ball dropped.
St. Mary's.
Ooh. It's all right.
Jesus.
He'll be okay. Kyle. This is Kyle's Tatty team.
St. Mary's could
This
win
is
it.
the
Win what?
NCAA, they're good.
I just can't believe it.
Yeah, that's
Uh-oh.
That's a
Kyle got
bummer.
UConn.
What's
Pretty
Vegas
good team.
thing?
UConn.
Final
It's
Four.
UConn's
He
year.
would love a husky, but he would request to do a German Shepherd like his police dog.
All right, Ralph. Ralph's Tatty team.
Ralph, there it is.
you mean Alabama?
It's Houston.
Wow.
Ooh.
Dangerous.
Fuck
That is dangerous.
Very dangerous. All right, now for Fauché.
Their
Were you
their
filming
logo is
so Nate can see it?
UH. I don't think Arizona has an
Fauché
X in it.
I want Fauché to get a tattoo.
Me too. Kansas State.
Okay.
That would be great.
Kansas State.
That's a feasible one.
Wildcat.
Several.
Be
Yeah.
pretty good. All right, now the fan.
Or a little. Just get a really little apple.
Or
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Life-size Darren Sproles.
The fan Tatty champ is Xavier.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Very
well,
dangerous.
none as dangerous as that fucking
Highest stakes are
virus
for
migrating
Ralph and
from
C. Long.
Durham.
Yep.
For sure. So, Chris, he's got Kentucky for the money team, Duke, Tatty, Matt, Northwestern, and Creighton. Macon's got Missouri twice, Reed, UVA, Arkansas, Scott, Corporate Greg, San Diego State, Iowa. Nate has Marquette and St. Mary's, Kyle, Houston, UConn, Ralph, Xavier in Houston, and Fauché, Arizona, and Kansas State. And the fan that has not been picked yet, Creighton and Xavier.
All right, good
Tatty
news
champs.
for you. Good news for you, and we can end the show on this. Really, the Duke Blue Devils are plus 2,000 to win the national championship. For reference, Gonzaga's plus 1,400, Jayhawks plus 1,200, UCLA plus 1,100, Zona plus 1,800. So Vegas not as keen on Duke.
How much money would you need to not care about getting the tattoo? Because you could wipe it out.
$500,000.
Okay, so if you bet 25,000 on Duke to win the title, you're there.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
The big scooter.
So who should we place a bet on? Like, looking at some odds here for the Natty, like maybe somebody who's Houston's plus 550.
They have an injury.
Marcus
well,
Sasser.
Which he said he's gonna be good to go by the
Okay.
first game. We'll see how
Purdue plus 1,200.
That's not bad, honestly. What's Arizona?
Don't know.
Out early is what Arizona is.
They're good.
So, anyways, Virginia's plus 5,000. No brainer.
And Virginia 4 and Duke a 5. So Duke is probably has got the best odds of a 4 or lower.
Sure. But they're all just teams out there.
You feel me?
So, anyways, the housekeeping stuff I wanted to hit you guys on is number one. We need some exotic Zin flavors. You asked me where
black cherry. I saw
cherry,
you post something about it.
I was gonna say this, like Zin should have a couple flavors that aren't out right now that should be out. Like cherry should be out in a heartbeat. Also with like a Scotch flavored, like a whiskey flavored Zin. Maybe not for everybody.
Sounds great.
We're bookending the show with nicotine talk.
Yeah. Well, so what I want is you to order, and I don't care what it costs. Black cherry Zin.
Okay.
In the 6s, please. Okay. Take care, everybody. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.